Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about ways of metering the light when you're out taking pictures, which is especially useful when you are shooting film. If you're shooting digital, that is a digital camera, of course. Everything is built in. You can adjust the ISO, adjust the shutter speed, adjust the aperture. But if you're shooting film, the ISO is fixed, so it's only two other parameters. Well, you can adjust the shutter speed and you can adjust the aperture, but to get the correct exposure, you need somehow to, some way to measure that. Some film cameras have built-in meters, but this one, my Yashica, does not have a built-in meter. So in order to get the correct exposure, I need I need to measure the exposure somehow. There's two options here. There's the Sekonic light meter, which I almost always carry with me, and then an app in my phone. To compare these two, I'm going to compare the two meterings from those two things with the meter in the camera. So I'm going to take take a picture, go for a walk, take pictures with that camera, and then just to control or to compare, I'm going to measure the exposure with these two items. I don't know what to expect, but I think that they might be precisely the same, and then there won't be any video, and you probably won't see this then, because then I'm not going to publish it, or am I? I don't know. But I'll get back here, go for a walk, and come back here, show you the images on the computer, and we'll see what I've come up with. So let's get out. So, back at the computer, I've just put all the files into Lightroom, and what you're going to see is the raw files, and then a screenshot of the light meter in the phone, and then you're going to see a photograph of the actual Sekonic light meter, and we'll compare the data on those. As you can see up here, in the left corner of the image is the shutter speed. You can trust me that I've fixed I've changed the aperture on all the images in the Light Meter app and in the Light Meter itself. So what's interesting here is the shutter speed. 1/25 of a second, 200, and then 40. I do believe that some things happened here which is not wrong, because this measurement is not typical for the rest of these. So I'll just go on. Oh, yeah, I know why. Sorry. I'll explain to you why. You see the dome up here, this one. I took it off at the next images, so you have to see this here. This is 240, 400, and it's still there. It says 500. But then I wasn't too sure. I did some testing, and when I went on to the next one, 180th, 160, 150, I was still not sure if this was correct or not, so I decided to 320 to see this is the same. And now I've moved it here. And you will see with the next images that it's actually getting closer to the phone and to the camera, what the light meter says here. What's interesting here is that this one. It's overexposed in the sky at 1/80th of a second, and then the meter, the app wants it even brighter. But I do believe that I set the camera to center weighted metering, and so the camera is actually much more in this area in here, and doesn't take the shadows too much into account. And whereas the light meter in the phone might take a larger part of the frame into consideration when saying it should be 1/60th. But I'm not sure. We'll have to see that in the next ones. And in this one, there's also clearly a lot of sky. I focused, I think, on this well, it's an art installation up here. So that says 320, 320 here. Now it's exactly the same, but there's not as much shadow on this one, so maybe that's why. The light meter claims it should be a faster shutter speed. Let's see the next one. 1/18th of a second, that's a very slow shutter speed. 110 and 115. But as you can see here, I actually forgot to change the aperture because I do believe, yes, I was at 5.6 here, so we'll have to take another measurement, which is here. 1/20th of a second, that's pretty close to my 1/18th before. And this one, say 1/30th of a second. And this is actually interesting because this is the only time where the light meter claimed it should be a faster shutter speed in all the testings that I've done here. But as you may be able to see here, that's my hand up here in the top of this because the sun was shining directly onto us here. So yeah, don't take this one into too serious. This is much better. The sun is behind us. 1/80th of a second f11, 125 f11, and 160 f11. Now, there's a tendency here that the light meter would have, well, it claims a faster shutter speed. I'll get back to that in the end of the video. I think I know why, but I'll have to discuss that in the end of the video. Next one, 1/120th of a second, 1/200, and 200 again. So this time the light meter agrees with the app, and well, you can't say it agrees with the camera, but it's pretty close. The camera says 135, and this one say 150s and 100. So you're back to the tendency where the light meter wants it faster than the camera and the app. 1/160, 1/250, and 1/400. So still the same, but as you can see here, the light meter is not able to find f8, 7.1, and f9. So it's somewhere in between there. So I assume it's close to being f280 or something like that. I'm not too sure. This one, 1/50th of a second in the camera. This one say 190, and this one says 1/125. The next one is problematic because, I've actually edited this. I'll see if I can go into the develop module and get back to, yeah, the camera actually exposed this like this, and that's clearly underexposed. And I think the center weighted part of the light meter measured for these white ones, and then all the rest just turns into black, but I'm not too sure about it. But let's see, it's 1/640th of a second, and this is 1/400 and 1/500. So yeah, the light meter still wants it faster than the app, and I think the other stuff should have been faster. Last one here is 1/10, 500, and 600. So the tendency remains the same, faster and faster from the app over to the light meter. And yeah, and I'll talk to you about that now. So, in conclusion to all this, I think that the light meter in the camera, you could say that it overexposes because it looks like the shutter speeds are slower, and that's interesting because I think it should be the other way around. And the reason for that being that if you take a digital sensor, what you basically used to do is you used to protect the highlights because it's difficult to recover the highlights. whereas it's easier to recover the shadows. So therefore, you should logically be able to shoot a bit faster on a digital camera compared to a light meter. I'm not too sure why this is the case. I've tried to, if I use this dome here, as I tried to explain in the video or earlier, it kind of takes the light in from everywhere, so it's just like, it's kind of reflected light, and it's kind of incident light. It's a mix of both. And I took it away, and this seems to be a little bit more precise, a little bit closer to the camera app and closer to the camera itself. There's also this one, but if I put this one on, this actually, well, it just doesn't get the exposure right. It's totally off. And it totally overexposes by 2, 3, 4, well, up to 5 stops, in fact. So this, I don't know why it's there. And I didn't read the manual, so yeah, I'm sorry, but maybe I should. But my logic is that in film you should be able to recover the highlights easier, so this might be. Yeah, I can't really explain why. If it was the other way around, that the camera was giving me a faster shutter speed compared to the light meter, that would make sense in the terms of that, what I talked about with the digital sensor. The phone app is not bad at all. It's got the advantages that you have this circle in the middle, so you can actually do kind of a spot metering with that. It's difficult to do a spot metering with a meter like this, at least when it's at the 308, where there's nothing you can look through. You could get a light meter, a spot meter, and if you really want to do precise measurements for your film photography, if you have a camera without a light meter in it, I would definitely get a spot meter. But for my everyday use, I think this is fine, and I'm not selling this. But the phone app is close to being precise, or is precise enough for my daily work, so I think I'll keep using that when I'm shooting film, and just use this as a flash meter, because as a flash meter, when I'm doing something in the studio, is actually pretty damn good. So I can't really explain the differences. In my mind, the differences should be the other way around, and I cannot explain why. Yeah, but my conclusion is the phone app is okay, and it's by far the cheapest versions of those 3 options if you're going out shooting film. So maybe you should just get an app for your phone. You have it in your pocket anyway, and use that and see what you can make of it. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked this video. Please comment, ask questions, thumb up, down, no, not down, but thumb up, and please join the channel. It will help me a lot. Thanks a lot. Bye.